It started with a phone vibrating on the kitchen counter. Not mine, hers. Normally, I wouldn't even care. But that night, the sound wasn't just a notification. It was different. The phone kept buzzing in short, urgent bursts, like someone was desperate to get through. I glanced at the screen. No name, just a number. And 3 little words in the preview. Check your email. My chest tightened. I shouldn't have opened her phone. But I did. One tap, and I was staring at a flood of unread messages. Videos, photos, attachments, all from different accounts. I clicked the first one. It took a moment to load, and then my entire world split in half. The screen showed her, my wife, smiling, drunk, and tangled up with 3 men I'd never seen before. And it wasn't a kiss on the cheek. It wasn't dancing. It was worse, much worse. I couldn't move. My fingers felt frozen around the phone. My stomach twisted so hard I thought I might throw up right there in the kitchen. And then I heard the sound of the shower running upstairs. She was home. I locked the phone and placed it back exactly where it was, my mind spinning faster than my heartbeat. Because in that moment, I knew something. Something that would make her regret every second of what she'd done. But I wasn't going to explode. Not yet. I was going to plan. The water upstairs stopped. I heard the faint clink of the shower door sliding shut, the creak of the bathroom floorboards under her feet. My hands were still gripping the edge of the counter, knuckles white, but my face was calm. I had to make it calm. She came down wearing that silk robe, the one I bought her for our anniversary. Her hair was damp, a few strands sticking to her cheek, and she gave me that casual smile like nothing in the world was wrong. "Hey, babe," she said, leaning against the door frame. "Why are you up so late?" I wanted to spit the truth right in her face. I wanted to throw the phone at her and watch her panic as the videos played. But instead, I smiled back. "Couldn't sleep," I said. My voice was steady, too steady. "Was just thinking." She walked over, the faint scent of her shampoo drifting with her, and kissed my cheek. My stomach twisted again, not from the kiss, but from what I knew, from what I saw. Her phone buzzed on the counter again. I saw her eyes flick to it, just for a fraction of a second, before she snatched it up and tucked it into her robe pocket. That flicker, that was guilt. I knew it. She made small talk, but her words barely registered, because in my head, I was already building the plan. This wasn't going to be a shouting match in the kitchen at midnight. This was going to be a slow burn. I was going to find out everything, every name, every face, every little detail. And when the time was right, I was going to make sure she lost more than I ever could. The second she went upstairs to dry her hair, I grabbed my laptop. Not my phone. My phone could be traced, synced, or seen. No, this was the old laptop I kept in the closet, the one she didn't even know the password for. I opened the email again. The subject line, "Thought you should see this before you marry her." No name, no explanation, just a link to a private cloud folder. Inside, there were 6 videos. 6. The first 2 were exactly what I'd already seen, grainy, drunken chaos. But the rest were worse. Clearer, different angles. Laughter that wasn't hers, voices she didn't know I'd recognize. I paused on one face, a man leaning into the camera with a smirk, holding her by the waist like she belonged to him. My jaw locked. I knew that face. I'd seen it 2 months ago at a barbecue. He was shaking my hand, introducing himself as a friend of her cousin. I hit save on every file. I duplicated them on 2 encrypted drives. And then I went deeper. The videos had metadata, timestamps, location data she thought had been wiped. I found the exact hotel, the exact time, even the room number. And here's where she made her first real mistake. One of the women in the video had posted on Instagram the next morning. Champagne glasses, a blurry group selfie. I reverse searched her username and found her Facebook, her TikTok, her LinkedIn, and every single friend she had. The pattern was forming. The web was tightening. And I realized something that made my pulse slow, not quicken. I wasn't just going to expose her. I was going to make her think it was her own lover who betrayed her. I leaned back, a strange calm settling over me. This wasn't rage anymore. This was war. And wars are won by patience, not punches. Upstairs, the hairdryer shut off. I closed the laptop, slid it back into the closet, and stepped into the kitchen like I'd just been making tea. She walked in, smiling again, and I smiled back. But now, I knew exactly which piece of her world to pull first. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay there with her breathing steady beside me, her arm draped over my chest like nothing had happened, like her world wasn't a ticking bomb I now had my finger on. I started the first move before the sun came up. At 4:32 a.m., I sent an anonymous text to her lover, one of the men from the videos. It was short, harmless on the surface. She's not who you think she is. Watch your back. No signature, no details. But I knew curiosity was a parasite. It would start eating at him immediately. By 8 a.m., she was in the kitchen making coffee. Her phone lit up with a message from him. She glanced at it, frowning just slightly, then slid the phone face down on the counter. Perfect. Over the next few days, I layered the game. First, I left a hotel key card, the exact same hotel from the videos, inside her car's glove box. I knew she'd find it eventually, and when she did, she'd panic, because she'd know I shouldn't have it. Second, I sent her an email from a dummy account with just 3 words. Does he know? No name, no context, just enough to stir the water. By Thursday, her behavior had shifted. She was quieter, more distracted. She'd walk into a room and glance at me like she was checking to see if I'd say something, then think better of it. That night, I staged the next strike. While she was in the shower, I forwarded one of the videos, just a blurry, split-second clip with no audio, to her lover, and I captioned it, "Is this the kind of woman you'd trust?" Here's the thing about betrayal. It's contagious. Once you plant the seed that someone else might be lying, every interaction becomes suspect. By Friday, I had exactly what I wanted. She sat across from me at dinner, trying to force conversation, and her phone kept buzzing in her pocket. I could see the name flash on the screen. Him. Her jaw tightened each time. That's when I knew. He was starting to question her, and soon he'd do the rest of my work for me. By Saturday morning, the cracks were showing. She was quieter. Her smile felt like it had been stapled on. Every time her phone buzzed, her fingers hesitated before touching the screen, as if the device itself was now a loaded gun. I didn't have to guess what was happening. Her lover was starting to pull away. I made sure to feed that fire. Using the same burner account, I sent him a message that read, "Ask her where she was the night after the party." I knew exactly how she'd react to that question. Panicked, defensive, and messy. By evening, she was pacing the living room, phone clutched in her hand, whispering furiously into it. She turned her back to me, but I caught enough to know. He was accusing her. She was trying to spin it. But here's the thing about liars. They're terrible under pressure when the story starts to unravel from both ends. 2 days later, I got the call I'd been waiting for. Not from her. From him. His voice was sharp, cold, like a man who had just realized he'd been played. "You were right. She's not who she says she is, and you should know. She's planning to cut you out completely." I stayed silent, letting him talk. He told me everything about the money, about her plans to disappear, about the way she laughed when she thought we were both too stupid to see it. That's when I flipped the game. I told him I didn't care about her anymore, only about one thing: the truth and the money. And to my surprise, he agreed. "If you want to take her down, I'm in," he said. "But when we do, I want her to watch it happen." And in that moment, her biggest ally became my weapon. We met in a quiet corner booth at a run-down diner, the kind of place where nobody asks questions and the coffee tastes like it's been burning since last week. When he walked in, I saw it in his eyes. He was done playing her game. The swagger she must have fallen for was gone, replaced by something sharper, colder. He slid into the seat across from me and didn't waste time. "She thinks she's about to disappear with it all," he said, leaning forward. "But I've got enough proof to blow her world up." That's when he handed me the folder. Inside were screenshots, voice recordings, and most importantly, bank transfers. The numbers didn't lie. She had already moved a chunk of the winnings into an offshore account under a fake name. I didn't just see betrayal anymore. I saw opportunity. "We don't go to the police yet," I told him. "We let her think she's still in control, until the exact moment she's not." The plan was simple in theory, brutal in execution. We'd stage a meeting, one she thought was private between her and him. She'd believe he was on her side, ready to run away together with the money. But I'd be there too, watching, recording, waiting for her to confess everything in her own words. Then we'd pull the rug out. He smirked when I laid it out. "You want her to feel it, don't you?" "Every second of it," I said. In that moment, two men who should have hated each other more than anyone else became allies. Not friends, never friends, but partners in the one thing that mattered now: revenge. And making sure, when the dust settled, she had nothing left to crawl back to. The night of the setup, I couldn't stop replaying every detail in my head. Every word we'd agreed on. Every look he would give her to keep the illusion alive. She thought she was meeting him at an upscale hotel suite. Romantic, private, the kind of place you'd run away to if you were about to disappear forever. I made sure the lights were low, the champagne was cold, and the door was already unlocked. I stayed hidden in the adjoining room, phone in hand, camera rolling. My pulse was steady, but my grip was tight. When she walked in, she was dressed to kill. Designer dress, diamond earrings, the kind of smile that said she thought the world was hers. "Did you bring it?" she whispered, brushing his chest with her hand. He played it perfectly. "Of course. Every cent. We'll be gone by sunrise." She laughed, that smug, satisfied sound I'd heard too many times. "He'll never know. By the time he finds out, we'll be drinking cocktails on a beach." Then she started talking, freely, carelessly, about how she'd moved the money, about how she'd been planning this for months, about how I was too predictable to ever see it coming. Every word was a nail in her own coffin. I could almost feel the shift in the air when he leaned in, his voice dropping. "You're right about one thing," he said. "He'll never see it coming." And that's when I stepped out from the shadows. She froze when she saw me, her face drained of color, eyes darting between us like a cornered animal. What is this?" she stammered. I didn't answer. I just hit play on my phone, letting her own words echo through the room. Every confession, every insult, every plan to erase me from my own life. Her lover, no, my accomplice, stepped back toward me, slipping the envelope of cash into my hand. "She really thought I was in on it with her," he said, almost laughing. She blinked, realization crashing over her like a tidal wave. "Wait, you? You set me up? Both of you?" I stepped closer, my voice steady. "No, you set yourself up. I just gave you the stage." She tried to play it off, angry, defensive, desperate. But it didn't matter. The recordings, the bank transfers, the signed statements, they were all ready to go. By the time the sun came up, she was locked out of every account, every card, every single dollar she thought was hers. Her so-called lover stood beside me, grinning. "Told you I'd get your back." We shook hands, the envelope of her dreams safe in mine. As she stood there, shaking with rage and disbelief, I leaned in one last time. "Enjoy your new life," I whispered, "because it's going to be a lot quieter and a hell of a lot cheaper." And with that, we walked out. Two men who just turned the ultimate betrayal into the sweetest revenge.